Good afternoon. It's Saturday, November 22nd, 2025. We've got a second regular season game for the Chesterfield Falcons here at the Maryville University Hockey Center on the Shanahan Rink. It's the Falcons 12U-B2 team facing off against St. Peter's Hockey Club 12U-B2 team. St. Peter's putting Ariola in net. Falcons with Armstrong as the lone goalie. Falcons were first in standings until earlier today when a game between the Kirkwood Stars at 2:45 against the Sharks fired off, and the Stars won 6-4 against the Sharks. So technically, the Stars are first in standings, though that's only their second regular season game of the season. The St. Peter's Hockey Club hasn't played any regular season games yet, so this is going to be the first one for them. Falcons' first game came against the Southern Illinois IceHawks. That was a win, and so that score on that game was 5 goals forced and 1 goal allowed. They're currently 1-0-0. Minute 22 left on the warm-up clock. We'll see how everybody fares. "16 players on the roster for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. 1 goalie and 15 skating out. 15 total on the roster for the Falcons. 14 skating out and 1 goalie. We'll watch, here's Masterson coming up, getting a shot on Armstrong. Seconds left. That's the ref blowing the whistle. Everybody will head back to the net, gather pucks. In other news, the team has a brand new streaming Wi-Fi. So hopefully everything comes through nice and clear. The Falcons getting ready for the game. Ariola back in net. Number 28, Riker Still, will face off at center as the Falcons send Ford Gorham. That's Xander Bryant at right wing, Maxwell Harrison at left, Walkenhorst and Beck back on defense. And that's a face-off one, poked backwards by Gorham. Toward Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst shooting it over off the back of Glosmeyer. Number 62 has it. He'll try to get it through, but Walkenhorst pokes it over. That's up and into the bench of the Falcons players. And that's going to stop the clock at 11:46. Gorham poking it over to Harrison. Harrison past the red line into the skate of number 17 for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. But they poke it back the other way. Now it's Riker Still on the attack. Poked through by Harrison. Harrison now sends it the opposite direction. That'll go untouched for an icing call. And Armstrong may see his first bit of action in the game. Gorham off the ice. We'll have a slight line change. That'll bring Benton out. LeGrand, Krenitsky, Braxton, Lurk, and Masterson all on the ice. Benton facing off against Still. Still out, no pun intended. That's Benton off the boards over toward Lurk. Lurk skating around. Lurk may have a shot opportunity. He's going to go down. No penalty called. Now it's the St. Peter's Hockey Club back in transition, but it's Krenitsky trying to get his stick on it. That was Riker Still trying to pick it up in the corner, but it's James LeGrand trying to carry it out. That was Max Stepchinski with a shot opportunity. Now a shot over to Armstrong. Armstrong off his blocker. Falcons clear it out. That'll get picked up by number 44, Regina. Picked up by Masters. Masters over on the boards. Centering pass picked up by St. Peter's. Deflected by Newport. Newport down to Masters. Masters in the slot. Pass over to Mickley. Mickley centering pass. Newport. Loose puck down in front of Ariola. Picked up by St. Peter's. St. Peter's, nice pass up to the red line. Now it's 26 with possession. That was Owen Patrick. Centering pass, but picked off by Mickley. Another centering pass, this time in the hands of Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst back to the point, but Depchinsky sends it the opposite way. Armstrong, and scored as St. Peter's at 9:57 swung around. And that looked like number 86 Montgomery. St. Peter's on the board first. Lurk back to Gorham. Gorham sends it ahead. Number 1 will pick it up for St. Peter's. That looks like Whittler. Whittler over. Picked up by Gorham on the boards. Gorham faces pressure. Down to Bryant. Back to Gorham. Now back to Bryant. Bryant backhand pass over toward Maxwell Harrison. He'll swing around. Harrison looking for a center pass. Over to Gorham. Gorham with a one-timer. Opportunity, but couldn't collect it. Now in the hands of Lurk. Lurk back down low. Picked up in the corner by 70 Gamage. Gamage swings over. Now back to Whittler. Gorham pressuring in the hands of Krenitsky. Krenitsky with a long shot. Just deflected by Harrison and out went wide. What a nice opportunity for the Falcons. And St. Peter's will clear it out. It's Krenitsky waiting back behind. Krenitsky into the neutral zone toward Gorham. Gorham trying to clear it up ahead to Harrison. Puck is loose into Harrison's hands, but that's Gorham on a line change. Still looking for a shot in the high slot. And good defensive pressure by the Falcons. And we've got an offsides call. So that shot at 9:57 was a wraparound by number 86 Montgomery. Armstrong looked like he was trying to catch it, and as he was sliding over to the post, Montgomery slipped one just past Armstrong's left leg pad, and that gives St. Peter's the lead so far. Oh, that was Masterson, who was dropped by 28 still. LeGrand coming in looking for a shot. That's a loose puck. Benton had an opportunity to get his hands on it. Now LeGrand, good job back checking. Clears that one back through the neutral zone. Livingston with possession. Pass over, cleared by Masterson. Now it's Walkenhorst. He lost it in transition. Picked back up by Masterson. Sent down low. Line change for the Falcons. Livingston swings it behind the net. Mickley comes over. He got his stick on it. Kept in by Masters. Masters now swinging wide. That's a swinging... That was a sweep check attempt, but caused a trip as Masterson was looking for a shot. So number 17, I believe, will head to the sin bin. That's Ian Camper for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. And the first power play of the game will go to the Falcons. .7:26 on the clock. Player advantage to the Falcons. Picked up by Lurk. Lurk sliding shot. Loose puck down low. Picked up by Ariola. No, loose puck still. Now Masters fighting for it down in the corner. That'll get wrapped around the boards to Krenitsky. Krenitsky back down to the corner. This time past Newport. in the hands of Lurk. Lurk fires it back around. That was 74. Correction. Not sure who that was, but it's deflected. We've got a little bit of an opportunity as Clark chases it, but Lurk gets there first. He'll fire it over to Masters. Masters trying to clear it out. Falcons now on the rush. Masters and Mickley on the attack. Mickley, actually that was Masters sliding into the shooting lane. And Harrison will wait. Harrison now on the attack. He slides through. Harrison looking for a shot. Poked. Actually kept in by Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst off the body of Depchinsky. Now in the hands of Gorham. Gorham's going to try to slide over. Poked away by number 44. That was Regina. Now in the hands of Beck. Beck looks for a shot. That's going to slide loose. Loose puck. Gorham looking for the rebound. Couldn't capture it. Beck kept it in. And no, that's an offsides call. 17 seconds remains on the power play for the Falcons as Camper still in the sin bin. So this is Gorham at center, Brian at right wing, Maxwell Harrison at left, Walkenhorst and Beck back on defense. Still a player advantage. 15 seconds left on that. 26 with possession, trying to clear it out, kept in by Harrison. Harrison swinging over into the shooting lane. Harrison looking for a shot, and it's in! That's a score for Harrison as he danced through traffic and squeezed it past the right leg pad of Ariola. Tie game. And that was technically a power play goal. That's Lurk sending it down low, off the boards, untouched. That's icing. We'll carry action back down on the other side of the ice, where Armstrong will see a few more shots, I believe. .548 on the clock. Tie game, 1 for the Falcons, 1 for the hockey club. And Benton trying to clear it out as he was taking the face off. Now to Masterson. Masterson looking to get something going. Couple of blue sweaters on Masterson. Masterson gets a shoulder, no penalty called. LeGrand fighting for it. Good back-checking effort for the Falcons. LeGrand now at the corner. Picked up by Whittler, number 1. Whittler sending it down low. Hockey club now on the forecheck. Benton will try to collect this on the boards. Kept in at the point. Sliding shot, and Armstrong with the deflection on the stick into the net. And a powerful slap shot up at the point. Falcons now find themselves on the defensive. And puck kept in by St. Peter's, but no, it's Walkenhorst who carries it out. Walkenhorst slides past 17 Camper. Walkenhorst looking for a dish off the body of Ariola. Walkenhorst behind now. Loose puck in the corner. Walkenhorst back to his post on defense, but it's Beck who gathers it. Beck trying to clear it out. Now St. Peter's looking for an attack, but loose puck back to Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst sends it through. That's to Camper. Now in the hands of Mickley for the Falcons. Back to Camper. Mickley gathers it again and back to Camper, so it seems like it's a little bit of a tennis match almost. And offsides. 4:31 on the clock here in the first period. And stoppage in time will bring another line change. It's Gorham back to center, Brian at right, Harrison at left, Kernitsky and Lurk back on defense. Still pokes it back for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. Now back in the hands of Still on the attack. And Still gets a little bit of pressure from behind by Gorham. Gorham trying to clear off the boards. St. Peter's almost had it. Loose puck Still. Now it's Lurk clearing it past the blue line. And after a brief exchange, that's sent back over the blue line. St. Peter's unable to reset. That's another offsides call. Stops the clock at 4:08. Same lineup as before. Gorham facing off against Still. And that's cleared by the Falcons untouched. And we'll have an icing call yet again. That brings us back to the Falcons defensive zone. And now it's Montgomery at center for St. Peter's facing off against Gorham. And picked up by Clark. Clark with a sliding shot back over. But that was wide. Now it's Lurk trying to carry it out. But a good effort by St. Peter's on the perimeter to keep it. Now it's Gorham trying to dance past Depchinski. But a couple of blue sweaters gather the puck. Now it's Still and Clark. Centering pass, but intercepted by Gorham. Gorham now trying to pass around Clark. That's going to go wide. Armstrong gathering it with his stick. And that'll stop the clock at 3:31. Montgomery will face off against Benton. Walkenhorst and Beck back on defense. That's Masterson, who's almost had the puck. Pass over to Clark from Montgomery for St. Peter's. Loose puck behind the net. Masterson trying to clear it over. It's going to be a shot down low. Loose puck Still. And a centering pass. Armstrong still trying to get over. That's dangerous. As St. Peter's had a nice one-timer opportunity, and it was just deflected wide. Armstrong swung back over, finally got a hold of it, and smothered it with his glove. As the original shot on the other side of the ice went off one of the bodies of, couldn't tell, St. Peter's or Falcons player. But either way, this is a face-off now with Benton at center and number 60, Haiden Liska for St. Peter's. LeGrand will gather this puck. LeGrand looking to carry it out. Sent down to the corner. A long slap shot by number 60, Liska, I believe. That one fired high. Actually, that was number 99, Dyke, son of the head coach for St. Peter's. Both players freezing the puck momentarily. Now a backhand shot. Armstrong will deflect that down to the corner as he couldn't get his glove on it. Good use of the stick. Now back to Dyke. Dyke with another slap shot. Armstrong trying to gather it. No, it's off the body of Armstrong. Rebound to number 94, Jaxon Thompson. At 2:27 in the first, and that gives St. Peter's the lead. Falcons now find themselves behind again. It's Newport off the boards and called clear, no icing. Mickley putting some pressure down in the corner. Newport as well. Newport goes down. Mickley off the boards. St. Peter's with possession. They'll break it out. And that was good back checking by Lurk. Lurk sends it over. Newport's chasing. Can't get there in time as looked like Still got there first. That was deflected back down low. Livingston with possession. Chased after by Newport. Same as Masters tries to grab it. Now it's a 3-on-1. Livingston still looking for possession. He has it. And that's kicked out by Mickley. Now in the hands of Kronitsky. Kronitsky, the defenseman, he's going to look for a shot. Shot off the body. Actually, glove save by Ariola. 1:25 left here in the first period. So it seems that number 99 for St. Peter's, Carson Dyke, loves to get a slap shot off in the corner. Maybe something to watch for the Falcons, as that slap shot has a little bit of power behind it. He's got some lift. That went off the body of Armstrong and picked up by St. Peter's on the rebound. That's what led to that second goal. It's the Falcons now trying to carry it back down into their attacking zone. Gorham slides through into the slot, lost the puck, back to Walkenhorst, then to the slot, back to the boards. Walkenhorst with a shot, that's down low. Bryant with a shot, into the body of Arriola, and a big save. 52 seconds remains. That'll bring a line change for the Falcons. Masterson at left, LeGrand at right, Benton at center. Krenitsky and Lurk back on defense. That was another shot. Loose puck still down low. Referee couldn't capture it, and the loose puck called dead. That'll stop the clock at 41 seconds. Still same lineup as before. Krenitsky and Lurk back on defense. Still will try to carry it out. Now it's the St. Peter's Hockey Club chasing it after. They'll have an opportunity for a shot. Loose puck's going through. Picked up by LeGrand. LeGrand trying to carry it. That's a pass off the boards to Masterson. Over to Livingston. Livingston slides it ahead. Loose puck down low in the hands of number 86, Montgomery. Montgomery shot off the body of Armstrong. Loose puck down low. Armstrong stopping them from pushing him back into the net. And a nice save down low. 14 seconds now remains in the first period. A 2-1 lead for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. It's Mickley. That was kicked loose with a little bit of help by Newport. Oh, and a nice pass by Walkenhorst up to Mickley, but deflected in the neutral zone by St. Peter's as the Falcons look to get on the rush. That stops time, and we'll head into the second period. So again, it was the St. Peter's Hockey Club that opened scoring at 9:57 in the first. That was number 86, Montgomery. Montgomery with a wraparound shot. Falcons followed that up with a power play goal in the first. That was a goal by Maxwell Harrison. And St. Peter's regained the lead late in the first with a shot by number 94 for St. Peter's. This is Newport now. Newport gathers the puck just across the blue line, heads across the red, shoots that in. Masters on the forecheck. Newport gets his stick on it, kept in by Walkenhorst, who fires it around. Depchinski with possession. Pressure by Mickley. Puck behind now. It's Mickley looking for a shot, and I think that's in. No, that's called dead. That was a save by Arriola. Gorham, kick back to Lurk. Lurk fires around the boards, off the body of Parks. Now to Gorham. Gorham slides into the slot. Gorham continues to carry that puck down into the corner. Centering pass by Bryant. That was dangerous. Gorham trying to muscle his way through. Puck down the corner, collected by Harrison. Regina, pressure, centering pass over. Loose puck. Falcons trying to collect the rebound. They'll look to carry this out. Now Parks on the attack. Falcons trying to move it. Lurk sends it down low. Bryant chasing after. Depchinski fires around. That's got some speed, but just off the stick of Gorham. Kept in at the point by a good effort on Krenitsky. Gorham with a shot. That's just wide. Bryant centering pass. Deflected back behind by Arriola. Now in the hands of Lurk. Lurk with a long shot. That's going to go off the body of Parks. Now Parks on the attack. Walkenhorst will try to squeeze up. That's a centering pass, but broken up by Lurk. Bryant fires it around. Now in the hands of Harrison. Harrison with a breakaway shot. He's going to look for the shot. Swings around, fires, goal! And Harrison with his second of the game ties at 10-16 in the second period. Hey, what's up, dude? How are you?
I just walked by, I noticed it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is
good to see you, man.
I missed this.
We'll have to get out for a hunt.
Yes.
I just went to Kansas. We'll have to talk about it. Good to see you. So breakaway for Harrison ties the game. That's him back down low and dangerous as 86 Montgomery had an opportunity for a centering pass, but broken up by Walkenhorst. Now in the hands of LeGrand, who's carrying it out. LeGrand off the skate of number 52 Clark. Back to LeGrand, contested at center line. Now in the hands of 26 Patrick. Patrick carrying it in. Now to Armstrong, who will actually pokes it back down behind the net. LeGrand firing it around. Past Whittler. That's called clear. Back on the forecheck. Now over to Masters. Actually Masterson down in the corner. Masterson pushing number 99 Dyke. And this is going to be a penalty. No, it's a coincidental. I think we have Dyke and Masterson headed to the sin bin. So Dyke, who with the powerful slap shot, will head in and will maintain a full strength game. So both teams down one player for a shift. So it looks like they were both roughing each other up just a little bit too much, and the referee not keen to allow that to transpire. Pass over to Masters from Mickley, but picked up by 52 Clark. Clark now on the attack, and a good back-checking effort by the Falcons. That'll get sent in as Clark crossed the blue line for an offsides. 9:07 in the second. And that will actually lead to a face-off here at center ice. Mickley versus Liska. Liska loses it. Actually, no, poked away briefly by Newport. A good effort by Newport, but Liska still maintained control. Now it's Kranitsky over to Mickley. Mickley backhand pass. Mickley collects it, sends it over, and it's now Masters kicking it to himself. He's going to dance around Camper. Again dances around, then pressure from behind. Kept in by Kranitsky. No, it's Lurk. Now it's an opportunity for St. Peter's. Livingston chasing it. Centering pass, picked up by Mickley. Now to Camper. Camper with a long shot, deflected down into the low slot. Picked back up by Mickley off a pass from the Falcon. Now it's back in the hands of Newport. Newport's going to slide down, looking for a shot. And tough angle, he's going to get forced to the outside. Falcons can't capitalize on that. Over to Bryant. Bryant in the high slot. Shot, but makes its way off the stick of Livingston. Kranitsky at the point. He'll send a wrister down low. That's wide. Now Bryant looking for a shot. He just missed connection. Now Thompson sends it, but that's loose into neutral zone. Dumped in by Beck. Loose puck down low. Gorham firing. That's wide. Harrison down off the boards. Pass back to Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst fires it down low again. Wrapped around just low. Now it's Harrison. He'll look for a wraparound, but too much pressure by Livingston. Livingston centering pass to Gorham. Gorham's poking it. And it's a loose puck. Still a loose puck. It's Harrison behind. He's going to send it over to Bryant. Bryant with a shot. Nice save by Liska. Now Harrison looking for another wraparound. That's going to go in. And it's the Falcons with a score, and they'll get their first lead of the game. And I believe that was Harrison down low. Rebound picked up by Gorham, and a score by Gorham at 7:09 in the second gives the Falcons the first lead. And this is still looking for a shot. Picked up by Kernetsky. It's number 88 who had it. Fired around off the glass by the Falcons. I believe that was off the stick of LeGrand. Pass down to Camper. Picked up by Kernetsky. Back to LeGrand. LeGrand fires it around. That may be untouched for an icing call. No. Called clear. Now in the hands of Masters in a sweep check. Down low. And they send it in. It's the Falcons with another score. Hard to tell who that was, but it just swept into Ariola's 5-hole, I believe, just underneath the leg pad. And I think that was LeGrand, but can't tell. Clark who sends it in. Armstrong with a little bit of puck play will leave it for Beck to pick it up. Pressure by 86 Montgomery. Montgomery trying to send it down to number 26 still. Now it's Masters. Loses it in transition. Pass over to Patrick. Patrick into the slot. Good deflection there. Gloved by Beck. Beck sends it over to Walkenhorst, and a centering pass broken up by the Falcons. They'll try to get something going. It's now back in the hands of Masters. Actually, that was Mickley to Masters. Masters trying to swing around Depchinski. Falcons with an insurance lead here. Puck frozen over by the board of the Falcons. And the referees will stop the play. .24 in the second. Picked up by Montgomery. He'll try to clear it out, but a good effort by Kernetsky to squeeze in down from the point. Sent it to Harrison. Harrison, who's been on fire today, he'll look for a centering pass over to Bryant, but Bryant was stymied up by number 1 Whittler, but now it's Montgomery back on the attack. Montgomery lost it to Bryant. Pass Dyke, now in the hands of Harrison, one-on-one. Bryant swinging over the other way. Good effort by number 1 Whittler. And St. Peter's Club will send it down low. Picked up by Beck in the corner. In the hands of Whittler, past his stick. And Bryant will fire it all the way down. And it's Masters who swings around Dyke. Masterson, shot, and score. So Falcons with 3 unanswered goals. That was a quick wrist shot by number 92, Masterson. Just past the blocker side, top left of the net. And a quick timeout by the St. Peter's Hockey Club as they try to recollect themselves. up to this point. Good job by Ariola so far. He faced a lot of shots. That was a tough one to stop. That last shot by Masterson. Wrist shot rose pretty high. Squeeze in at top left corner. And let's bring us back to center ice. Masterson at left, Benton at center. Looks like we've got LeGrand at right wing, Beck and Walkenhorst back on defense. LeGrand giving a couple words to Benton. It's Benton who wins the faceoff, carries the puck in himself. That's going to get deflected by Ariola down to the corner, picked up by Devine. St. Peter's now carrying it through. That was a pass to Liska from Thompson. Broken up there by LeGrand. A good effort by the Falcons. Benton, pass over to LeGrand. Now past LeGrand into the stick of Masterson. Masterson swings over. And that's deflected. Kept in by Beck up top. LeGrand with a sliding shot. Left a rebound. Grabbed by Beck again. Beck kept it. Actually lost it. They called offsides. 3:41 on the clock in the second period. 5-2 lead for the Falcons, who've had 3 unanswered. Technically 4 unanswered when St. Peter's had a 2-1 lead. Newport at left, Mickley at center, Masters at right. Kranitsky grabs the loose puck off the faceoff and sends it in. Lurk back on defense. He'll get to the point to try to keep that puck in. And he does. Actually, no, poked out by Liska. Ahead to Gamage for the hockey club. But Kranitsky trying to carry it out. Grabbed by Liska, who shifts into the shooting lane. Lurk pokes it. Masters looking for a pass. Broken up by St. Peter's. Now back to Gamage. Gamage pass off the boards to Liska. Liska couldn't collect it, and Thompson carried himself in. That's an offsides call. .306 here in the second period. And it's Gorham with the face-off, but picked up by Parks. Parks shifting over. Pressure behind. Armstrong will poke it back. 62 with a centering pass. Armstrong stop. And a big save by Armstrong. That was a dangerous puck. Picked up by 84 off the body of Harrison. Down low again. St. Peter's with another good opportunity down low, and they've got the puck. No, in the hands of Walkenhorst, who goes down. That goes off the boards. Now to Bryant. Picked up by Bryant, who dances around one of the St. Peter's players who just dropped. Deflected by Gorham. Loose puck at the red line. Now in the hands of Walkenhorst. That's deflected back to St. Peter's. Now Bryant with it, still trying to collect that puck. Now it's 2-on-2. Gorham and Harrison. Gorham forced wide. St. Peter's now on the attack. That was a pass off the skate of Bryant and offsides. 2 minutes remains in the second period. And with a win, the Falcons should move back to first in the standings. They'll have an interesting matchup when they meet with the Stars, team coached by Ray Guerriero. And a stop by Armstrong down low. Patrick and Harrison bumping into each other. .153 on the clock with stoppage. Long shot, just wide. Armstrong's moving over. That was a centering pass picked up by Lurk. Lurk sent it around the body of Patrick. Now it's Masters trying to clear, but Montgomery picked it up. That's down low. St. Peter's on the forecheck now. Krenitsky working to clear off the body of Whittler, though. Now Lurk fighting against Patrick for possession. Loose puck down over to the corner, but now in the hands of another Falcon. Kept in by Dyke at the point. And Patrick looks like he tripped Lurk. Lurk wasn't happy about that. Lurk and Patrick bumping each other. Finally cleared. It's Whittler who will pass it over. That'll go off the boards into the hands of Masterson. Masterson chasing past Whittler. Now over to Dyke. Dyke trying to clear. Grabbed by Lurk. Loose puck in the neutral zone. And we'll have an offsides call. 46 seconds remains in the second period. We'll face off to the spectator side on the St. Peter's Hockey Club end of the ice. Minkley looking for a shot, but broken up by St. Peter's. Kept in by Walkenhorst. Puck's down low, picked up by Whittler. Whittler to Thompson. Thompson trying to fire it around, but bodied by Minkley. Correction. Finally sent out by St. Peter's in the hands of Liska. Liska trying to break out. He'll have a little bit of room, but pressure by Masters. Backhand shot. That's going to go just behind and grabbed by Beck. Beck ahead to Newport. Newport working to carry it through. Gamage, though, gathers it. Gamage swings wide. Pressure by Minkley. Loose puck in the neutral zone. Sent ahead by Minkley. Now back in the hands of Liska for St. Peter's. Liska working on an attack, but time expires in the second. And that'll bring us to another intermission. And both teams get a brief break. We'll reset the clock and give both teams 13 minutes here in the third. Still, number 28 for St. Peter's will face off against 17 Ford Gorham here at center ice to open the third. Bryan at right wing, Harrison at left, Lurk and Krenitsky back on defense. Armstrong waiting. Lurk sends that through. That's a nice pass over to Glosmeyer, off the stick of Glosmeyer to over to Still trying to dance through traffic, but unable to get it done. And Gorham kicks it to himself. Gorham and Bryan on the attack. Pass over to Bryant, but broken up by St. Peter's. And a good back-checking effort by St. Peter's, deep in their own zone. Krenitsky fires one off. That will be loose, down low, picked up, and score by Harrison. That's a hat trick. Throw your cap on the ice. So 11 seconds into the third gives the Falcons an extra point for the lead. Couldn't tell who the assist was by, but that was down low and hard for Arriola to stop the initial shot off his body and picked up in traffic. Sent over to Harrison. Harrison who squeezed it in. Arriola was down on the ice. That was a tough ask. This one's loose. Sent down into the neutral zone. St. Peter's on the attack. Potential 3-on-2, but broken up by Walkenhorst, who's done a good job to reset. And St. Peter's sent it in intentionally. And both teams will face off on the offsides called on the bench side next to the Falcons. It's 86 Montgomery carrying it in. He'll look for a shot. That's Clark. Clark down to Armstrong with a save on the sliding shot. St. Peter's getting a little testy, pushing a couple of the players. It looked like Lurk was in the middle of that business. Montgomery comes down over, saved by Armstrong down low. Nice opportunity for Montgomery, who had the puck off the face-off. Picked up by Masters in the corner as he was looking to carry it out, but pressure from behind. Loose puck made its way to Mickley. Clark goes down off Mickley's effort, but no penalty called. Mickley looking for a backhand pass, picked up by Kronitsky, who sends it in. Newport unable to reset, and that's offsides. Clock stopped at 11:36 now in the third period. Face off at center is Montgomery versus Gorham. Harrison at left, Bryant at right. Walkenhorst and Beck back on defense. This is Bryant carrying it in. Pressure from behind by Clark. And kicked in by Beck. That's an offsides call. Walkenhorst off the back leg of Harrison. Gorham trying to keep it in their own attacking zone. St. Peter's cleared it. The Falcons doing a good job to reset. That was sent in. Looked like Walkenhorst was offside, but not called. Now in the hands of Bryant. Bryant's going to shift over. He'll look for a centering pass. That was just behind Gorham. Gorham couldn't collect it, but it was the St. Peter's players now who has it. It's Gamage carrying it ahead. Gamage looking for a centering pass off the skate of Gorham. Now over to Kronitsky. Actually, Walkenhorst, correction. Picked up by Harrison. Harrison pass over to Bryant. Bryant and Gorham on the attack. Bryant, he'll look for a pass, but that's actually a pass to Gorham. Gorham with a backhand shot. That's wide. Masterson was looking for something. Pass by Gorham over to Bryant. Bryant with a pass. Actually, that's a shot. Deflected by Gorham. Down to Ariola. Ariola dropped to the butterfly and made a nice save. That stops the clock at 10:37. LeGrand at right wing, Benton at center. Picked up by St. Peter's. This looks like Still, who's on the attack, but a nice back-checking effort by LeGrand, who picked that off. Now LeGrand shifting through. LeGrand goes down, no penalty call. As Benton was waiting for a pass. Benton, though, collects it. He's going to swing around number 17, Camper. Now Still with possession. That's a pass down. And Still bumped into by number 91, Lurk, and no penalty called. That looked like it was accidental. But either way, it's still bodied by Lurk, and Lurk keeping it in the corner. They'll send it down toward Masterson, but picked up by St. Peter's. 9:55 remains here in the third period. Livingston trying to clear it out, kept in by LeGrand. LeGrand down in the corner. Centering pass attempt off the body of Livingston. LeGrand back to another centering pass, this time to Lurk. Lurk in the high slot. Shot just wide, though. It's Kronitsky trying to keep it in. And Livingston pass over to number 60. Loose puck off the body of one of the St. Peter's players. Still trying to keep it in. Couldn't get it done. That's loose toward Masterson. Masterson will head down, and now it's on a line change. A little bit of danger. Still trying to carry it in, but Hart's unaware and led to an offsides call. Still, who had maybe a potential advantage as he was sliding into the high slot. And the offsides call will bring Montgomery against Mickley at center. Here on the spectator side, just across the blue line. Masters at right wing, Newport at left. Beck and Walkenhorst back on defense. That's Mickley over to Masters. Masters carrying it in. He'll get forced to the side. Masters wraps it around. Lost a little bit of energy and picked up by St. Peter's in the corner. Now in the hands of Montgomery, 3-on-2. Nice pass up ahead, but deflected and lost. Picked up by Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst to Newport, then to Mickley. Deflected by one of the St. Peter's players, back checking. That was a nice effort. Now in the hands of Beck. Beck fires it down low. Pass over to Clark. Clark fires it back. Picked up by Beck at the point. St. Peter's now on the rush. Centering pass over toward 26, Patrick. It's Walkenhorst. Fires it off the body of Clark. Shot down to Montgomery. Picked up by Montgomery. Montgomery's looking for something. Armstrong swinging over. And a score by the St. Peter's Hockey Club off the effort of Montgomery. Armstrong shifting over in front of the net. And a good shot by Montgomery to bring St. Peter's up to 3. That came at 7:57 in the third. That's Montgomery's second goal of the game. Armstrong was shifting over. It looked like it went through the 5-hole, but hard to tell. Got a timeout by one of the teams, and they're looking to close the game out. The Falcons will try to pick up another win to stay perfect for the season. And the first regular season game for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. They'll need to gather a little bit of momentum here as they have time winding down in the third. Ariola may be pulled if the goals get close enough. We'll see. Falcons will send out Gorham. Maxwell at left. Bryan at right. Kronitzky and Lurk back on defense. That's a face-off won by St. Peter's. Number 60, Liska, has it. He'll carry it in, and we've got an offsides call. So a little bit of energy carried into that face-off. Stopped by the whistle. Gorham facing off against Liska yet again. Gathered by St. Peter's. And Lurk will have a nice silky smooth pass over to Bryant. Lost. Now it's Liska. Liska looking for a shot. And score! Liska with a big score to bring it to 6-4. So 7:57 and 7:35, a matter of 22 seconds, brings St. Peter's within 2. And Liska with a nice wrist shot just past Armstrong. It looked like it bounced off his body and then potentially backwards. This will get sent down. Whittler will pick it up for St. Peter's down in the corner, number 1. Chased behind was Masterson. Whittler will carry it out. St. Peter's with a little bit of energy now, and Beck will swing around, trying to avoid traffic. Beck off the boards. Actually, that was onto the body of Maxwell Harrison, who was standing at the bench. That'll stop the clock. And both teams will face off in the Falcons' defensive zone. Looks like the clock was reset to 1:39, a little bit of a timing issue as the game did start late. That's to the advantage of the Falcons. St. Peter's trying to gather this, but it's in the hands of Benton. Benton trying to clear it through. Past Parker, now to Walkenhorst. It's Masterson who comes over to support. Pass over, but in the hands of Livingston. Livingston shot, and just off the helmet of Armstrong. And into the net. That will stop the clock. A nice shot by Livingston, who shifted just outside the shooting lane and squeezed the wrist shot off. 1:20 remains. Ariola still in net for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. Mickley facing off. It's Kronitzky trying to clear it out. Now Mickley up ahead, and that will be called icing. Masters chasing after, unable to grab it. We'll head 200 feet in the other direction. 1:11 remains. Parker! That's Mickley against Still. Falcons gather that. Newport off the boards over to Mickley. St. Peter's trying to shift through. Picked up by Masters. Masters now on the attack. And Lurk coming over to support. Lurk goes down. Puck down to the corner. It's Livingston versus Masters. Mickley will grab that puck. He's going to look for something. Good effort by St. Peter's to stop it, but in the hands of Lurk now. Lurk off the boards to Mickley. Centering pass actually just wide. Now to Masters. Masters who gets a bump. And that's going to be called on St. Peter's. And it looked like number 77, Livingston, who kind of left his skates a little bit and bumped into the Falcons. So a little bit of a roughing call, I believe. So St. Peter's, who badly needed a player advantage, now find themselves short, and not enough time, I think, to overcome the deficit. Picked up by Beck. Beck will just freeze it, I believe, as he's trying to run time out. Now to Bryant. Bryant's going to shift over, down to the slot. Backhand shot, but a sliding save by Depchinski. 16 seconds remains. St. Peter's trying to clear it. Harrison lost it, as that was number 44 who had it. And Harrison, actually that's going to be called on Gorham. And so Gorham now to the box. That's going to leave both teams down to 4-on-4. That penalty leaves the Falcons in their own defensive end. That's picked up, and a shot. Armstrong really low as he was preparing to see something. Now it's a foot race between Bryant and Depchinski, but it won't matter as time expires. And Armstrong getting a welcome reception from his team as it got a little hot there to close things out. Good job by Ariola as he faced a couple challenging situations. And so the second game of the season for the Falcons ends in another win. So they stay perfect. St. Peter's will fall to 0-1-0 to start the regular season. Again, this is Saturday, November 22nd, 2025, a regular season matchup between Chesterfield Falcons 12U-B2 team and the St. Peter's Hockey Club 12U-B2 team here at Maryville University Hockey Center at the Shanahan Rink. We will see you tomorrow for another matchup. Thanks for tuning in.